It's quite cold in here, but I'm being stubborn and refusing to turn on the heat. I am. I'm just flat out refusing to do it. Times are tough. What can I tell you? Hopefully the truly warm weather will be here soon. It'll be nice if it is. At least it isn't raining today. That's one good thing. It isn't raining. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, there's Rocky. He's having a sleep. I'll move the camera back and forth because right now I can't see whatever you're seeing. All I'm seeing is the back of my phone. So we'll just do that. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Whoop, there he is. Anyway, Rocky's having a good sleep. I'm going to tell you another story now about the building that I lived in from 1988 to 2016, 28 years. It was a building that had what I call demonic activity happening in it. Some would say negative energy. I'm sure there's other terms for it too. But basically, negative spiritual energy, demonic activity, bad stuff. Bad stuff, anyway. Not good. But when I was a kid, there was something happened. Now, I was in apartment number 8 on the top floor of that building. The apartment next to me naturally was apartment number 7. And when I was a kid, back in the early 1970s, I remember this happening. There was a man killed in there, in apartment number 7. And what had happened was, I'll tell you the story. Basically, as I remember my dad telling the story, he was laughing at the stupid perf police. And the perf police were really corrupt, and they could be really stupid too, actually. But anyway, what had happened was, I remember my dad telling the story about them anyway, because he thought it was just off the wall what happened, what they did. A man came home. The man and his wife were living in apartment number 7. The man came home from work early, and when he entered the apartment, he heard from the bedroom the sounds of sex. Now, obviously, he wasn't having sex with his wife. He just walked into the apartment, so it wasn't him that was causing these sounds to be made. And so what he did is, he went into the kitchen, he took a knife out of the drawer, and then he went into the bedroom, and of course he found this man on top of his wife, having sex with her, and he plunged the knife into the man's back, and the man died. The man basically collapsed on top of this guy's wife, who he had been having the sex with. Well, the guy killed the guy, basically. He stabbed him to death. He killed him. Now, his wife was underneath this guy who was, dead. Well, then he went to the phone, called the perf police, and he told them the story. He said, I came home. My wife was in bed with another man. I took a knife out of the kitchen drawer. I went into the bedroom. They were engaging in sex. I stabbed the man in the back, and he's now dead in my bed on top of my wife, basically. Well, the cop that took the call, he just says, yeah, sure you did. Now, why don't you just go have a sleep, just sleep it off, you'll feel better in the morning. And he hung up on him. So the guy called back. He said, no, really. I'm this is not a prank call. This really happened. I've got a dead guy in my bed. Like this really did happen. I really did kill the guy, and that's the story. Well, again, the cop just said, yeah, whatever. Sleep it off. You'll feel better in the morning. So hung up on him again. Well, then, I guess the cops got thinking about it, and they figured we better go up there just in case. Well, After I had the experience that I talked about in my previous video with the red circle and being attacked by something that I couldn't see in my dreams, and Rocky intervening actually, and it was his growling that woke me up out of that sleep and took me out of that dream. After that, I was talking to the neighbor lady who lived in that apartment. She happened to be out on the fire escape, and I happened to go out there, and I said to her, I said, now you may think I'm crazy, but have you ever had any weird experiences, like really weird stuff that can't be explained in your time living here? And as soon as I said that, she says, oh my God, yes. No, she said, you're not crazy. Yes, I have. And then she started telling this story that when she'd be laying in bed at night, she'd feel a heavy weight on her. And she couldn't move. It would paralyze her. She couldn't move. It felt like just a heavy weight bearing down on her, and she couldn't move. She was just like she's frozen. She couldn't move. And she could hardly breathe with this weight on top of her. Well, that's probably what that man's wife experienced with her dead lover she was having the affair with, laying on top of her dead. Now, I never told that lady the story about the murder that had happened up there, what had happened, because I thought that would just freak her right out, and I didn't want to do that to her. To this day, I don't think I've ever told her that story. But the thing is, yeah, and I don't think she was aware of that happening in there. A lot of people in town don't know about that. The only reason I remember it is because I remember my dad telling the story to somebody and saying how stupid the Perth police were, basically. My dad had about as much use for the police as I do. So, and from my way I talk, you can probably tell I don't like the police very much. So, anyway, that's the story. That's one story. There's other stories that I'll tell. Now that I'm on a roll, I might as well, if I'm going to look crazy, I might as well look totally crazy and tell you everything. But anyway, let the chips fall where they may. But that's just another story anyway, about that building. And yeah, anyway, I hope you're all having a good day, and Rocky and I will see you later. Bye-bye for now.